And hello from the campus of Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Intersect, where the DoD, academia, and industry meet. My name is Shane McGraw, the outreach team lead here at the SEI, and today I am joined by James Ivers, who is our software architecture lead. James, welcome.
Hi, Shane. Thanks for having me. I'm really looking forward to talking about some of the work that we do and the opportunities that we have.
Awesome. So I mentioned you lead the software architecture team here. So to level set, can you talk a little about, in layman's terms, what is software architecture and why it's so important today?
So software architecture is really the embodiment of some key decisions that are made in software engineering about how a system is structured, how it's organized to satisfy its business and mission goals. We found over time that it's an incredibly high leverage technique to help teams deliver the software they intend to at the level of quality that they want and on schedule. So it's just really proven to be so effective for so many organizations.
Great. So the SEI has been considered a leader in this field for over 25 years. And that's just not me saying that. I think there's 5 or 6 books that have been published by the SEI. 10 plus courses have been produced by the SEI. Tens of thousands have been trained by the SEI. 1,700 certificate holders in our various certificates. So we truly are a leader. What sets the SEI apart in this space? What makes us different?
Well, first of all, we've been very busy, clearly.
Yeah.
But we got involved in software architecture really early in the discipline. And something that was unique in the perspective the SEI brought was that intersection between research and practice. Right. So we started from the very beginning learning from everybody. We interviewed and talked to practitioners about what was effective. We paid attention to the current research. We pushed the research frontiers. And we really brought those perspectives together to try and hone the research towards what would help today's problems, tomorrow's problems, but the actual problems practitioners have. And really enshrine that knowledge in the kinds of books and courses that we teach to really help architects everywhere do their jobs more effectively.
Great. So we keep hearing about AI, ML, how things are changing. How are those things changing problems now for software architects? What's the challenges that are out there?
So there's an awful lot of the foundations, the fundamentals of software architecture that are every bit as relevant today as when they were developed 30 years ago. Right. A great portion of what's going on, for example, when we incorporate an ML capability to an existing system, an awful lot of what we know about software architecture really helps do that in a more disciplined way. There are some slight new angles. There's a heavier dependence on data and those aspects. But really, a lot of what we have is proven. I think some of the other factors that are really changing how architects work, the advent of Agile years ago has really been embraced. Early on, software architecture, like a lot of software engineering, was taught more of a waterfallish process. But of course, everything really does work effectively incrementally, and in fact is better for teams when you do it that way. There are some current trends in greater reliance on frameworks and the importance of brownfield development. And architecture really does stay an important tool to understand how to focus on the essential decisions and to work on how you change them to evolve your systems to meet new requirements and integrate new technologies like machine learning.
And I always, working here a while, I've heard about the ilities of software architecture. Is that something unique to the SEI, or is that something that's been incorporated into our work?
So the ilities, you'll sometimes hear this as the non-functional qualities. The SEI coined the term quality attributes.
Yeah.
They really are core to architecture because one way that I like to explain it is you can write code to implement a capability lots of different ways, and you can compute the right answer. What's really going to differentiate those solutions and make some more successful than others is how well they satisfy quality attributes like the performance of the system, the security of the system, the maintainability of the system, the ilities.
Right.
And something that the SEI were really leaders on is guiding the community to how to really go from these fuzzy notions of an ility to concrete scenarios that are measurable, actionable, things that architects and development teams can design against and test against, and really brought that into a clear focus for practice.
That's great. So we've done a number of webcasts over the years, you and I in particular, with a panel of people called What Makes a Good Software Architect. And have been pretty popular. They're resources that are available now on the SEI website. They're on our YouTube channel. But one of the moderators, Ipek Oskaya, one of our colleagues, had a great quote. And I think she was quoting someone else, but talking about the software architect's elevator. Right. How architects got to be ready to get off at the CEO level, the developer level, or the facilities level to talk about the plumbing. And it just shows how broad and how big the job is. Is that something that you were drawn to, or a little bit overwhelmed when you first started doing this work?
Probably a little bit of both, to be honest. I mean, it really is a good observation. Really effective architects aren't just technical; they're good communicators. Right. They're oftentimes where they're diving deep into the guts of technologies and building prototypes and working closely with implementation teams to understand what the technical options are. But then they often have to back out and talk to other stakeholders like management or leads of other teams who their changes might impact. And really good architects can talk at the CEO level and deliver a consistent message in a different language at the development team level to bring teams along. And there's a sense in which an architect really has a bird's eye view on a lot of the moving pieces of a project. It can be really influential in helping teams work together, work more consistently. And those who take advantage of that are really successful.
Right. It's about the business requirements, right? Helping the business meet what the main goal is.
Well, we tend to focus on business and mission because they're very complementary. So one way to think about the business mission is really talking about what's the cost of development? Am I going to get market share? Am I going to be able to maintain and evolve the system efficiently? Those are really important to most organizations, but they can never be decoupled from the mission. Right? If you're in finance, it might be one thing. If you're in healthcare, it might be another. If you're in the DoD, it's something different. But business and mission need to play together. And one of the core ideas of architecture is it's really tough to satisfy every requirement, every ility. Their trade-offs are just core to the job. And an understanding of those different perspectives and the tools that architecture brings to bear helps teams navigate that space more effectively.
And is that a lot of the technical debt work? Is that off base?
That's part of it. I mean, a lot of technical debt is dealing with the fact that the software that we have today in our systems isn't necessarily what we need in the future. There may be some decisions we've made in the short term to get a critical mission capability out quickly that might have some adverse business effects. Development pace is going to slow, or there's going to be some future cost to remedy that situation. And technical debt is a concept that's really latched on in the community as a way for organizations to reckon with, I need to invest in my code. I need to keep my code healthy. If I want to continue to innovate and compete in the marketplace, I've got to deal with that. And the technical debt that we've done here at the SEI is really stemmed from a lot of the architecture work, and the ideas fit together very nicely.
Great. So the reason you're here, we're hiring, like many companies, SEI is hiring. I think there's 3 open positions in your group right now.
That's right.
So those careers are available on the SEI website now. Just go to our careers tab. You'll see a listing there within Workday to get full job descriptions. But can you talk a little bit about the 3 positions? Are they senior level, junior level? Description of what you're looking for in the researchers.
Absolutely. It's a little bit of a mix, and maybe just as a lead-in, our team is a little bit of a mix, and that's one of our strengths. We, as an applied R&D organization, we do a mix of research, we do a mix of helping organizations, and we try to learn from all of that to channel our research in the right direction. So I've got some people on the team who are more focused on research, some who are more focused on working directly with industry and government to help them solve problems using architecture. So I have positions that fit all of those categories. So I have an open position for architectural researchers to help us set the future agenda. We've been doing work recently in how do we deal with brownfield development? How do we refactor source code or make sure that the code we're developing conforms to the intended architecture? We're going to continue to push in those areas and how code and architecture relate. And we're looking for insightful researchers to help us define and pursue that agenda. We also work with many organizations, government, industry, what have you. And we need experienced architects who can take the lessons that we've learned, that they've learned, that the research shows us is proven, and help organizations improve their practices. One of the things that's really nice about how we work with these organizations is we're not a body shop. We're trying to teach them how to be more effective, and that can be really, really rewarding. The third position that we have is a development position. We've been doing more work recently in trying to develop automation that helps architects do their jobs, and that takes a lot of work, and we need more support in that area as well.
Great. What's the day-to-day like in these positions? I know we've been remote for with many organizations during the pandemic. What's the day-to-day like? Are they traveling to customer sites? Are we working in groups? What's that scenario?
I get that question a lot, and unfortunately the answer is it depends. I mean, it depends a lot on the position, the engagement, and what have you. Those who are researchers will travel. I mean, we like to go to conferences. We like to publish our work and communicate what we've learned to improve the community as a whole. That's certainly really important. Those who work with customers do travel to customer sites from time to time. We don't tend to embed people full-time or anything like that. And so the travel load really depends on what the customer expects and whatnot. We're expecting, because we've worked very effectively remotely during the pandemic, that we'll see a reduction in travel, but time will tell, I guess.
Right. So we call the show Intersect,
Yes.
where the DoD, academia, and industry meet. So you're a great person to interview this with industry experience.
Yeah.
You're currently in an academic situation,
Yep.
and you've worked on a lot of military systems.
Yeah.
So is that something that drew you to the SEI originally, the chance to be in these three areas, or talk a little bit about your experience with that?
Yeah, so I think one of the great strengths, especially as an architect of working at the SEI, is we do work with so many different organizations. Right. As an architect, that means I've had the opportunity to see how systems in vastly different domains have been architected. Healthcare, automotive, avionics, commercial IT. There's just a wealth of lessons to be learned from seeing how different solutions are applied in different domains and why. That sharpens the architect's skill set. Yeah. So for me, I like that variety and being able to see and learn from all these different projects and all these different technologies and challenges. It keeps us sharp, and there's lots of problems to be solved.
Great. Two-part question here for you. Favorite part of working at the SEI, and then second part of the question about working in FFRDC, which is a federally funded research and development center. So can you maybe explain what that is on the backside, but what your favorite is?
Okay, so for me at the SEI, it's kind of a combination, both of which has to do with the diversity. It's diversity of the problems we tackle and the diversity of the people that I work with, because we work with so many different people on the team who have different backgrounds, different skill sets, that working together, we just make each other smarter. And that's just something that appeals to me a lot. As for an FFRDC, for those who don't know, we're sponsored by the government with a mission, broadly speaking, to improve the state of the practice of software engineering, but more specifically for the government organizations that we work with. We work a lot for the DoD, and so there is a lot of appeal in helping the government develop software more effectively. How can we deliver better value to the warfighter, to the government, work more efficiently, and just continue to advance the state of the practice there.
Right. And just for me personally, to tie on some of your ideas of just the work-life balance for me, I have 4 children, to be able to work from home at times and not miss things, is something I'm forever grateful for. CMU Leadership, I think that the handling of the COVID pandemic of whether it's, extra holidays, extra PTO, the way they handled testing on site, tackling inflation. It's just, I think the university leadership, the SEI leadership, have done a really great job of leading us through that. And it's
absolutely
a testament to working here.
Yeah. I mean, the organization's been incredibly supportive throughout. And honestly, it builds on a good foundation of the CMU benefits in general. I mean, we have tuition benefits. If you're a parent, your kids go to Carnegie Mellon, you are in incredible luck. But I mean, I myself, I got my master's degree using my CMU tuition benefits.
Oh, great.
And I know there are a number of other people on my team who've taken advantage of that. Plus, I mean, just being here on campus, we have access to instructors, great conversations, guest talks, facilities, and what have you. I mean, Carnegie Mellon's a great place to be if you're in the software field. I mean, it really is one of the best schools in the world.
Let's talk a little bit about your current research. We have what's called line and lens. I don't know if we need to get into the details of that, but what's your current area of research? Where do you see that work going? What may draw other people to want us to work there?
So I'm currently leading a research project that involves refactoring. And it really stems from the observation we saw from working with government and industry organizations. It's a really widespread problem, that a lot of the software that we have isn't structured the way we want for what we want to accomplish, to achieve those business and mission goals. So I'm leading a research team that is using the existing body of knowledge in refactoring, applying genetic algorithms to develop a tool that helps organizations learn how to refactor their source code. So it's a great project where we're combining all of these angles together. And we've got a prototype that we're working on and starting to test out with some organizations where if they tell us the problem they want to solve, say, I want to extract this piece of code as a new microservice from my monolith, a really common problem, especially for those going through cloud migration, the tool will do this really sophisticated search in just a half an hour's time or so, give you a recommendation. Here's how you should refactor your code. And so for us, this is a great opportunity to help a whole lot of organizations with a really common problem. It's an opportunity to help architects focus on the really key bit. What is that bit of functionality I want to extract, and let the tool take over some of the tedious stuff. And it's an example of how we think we can improve the state of the practice and help architects be even more effective.
And what's the typical project the life cycle of it? Are you given a year to turn these results around, 2 years? How's that handled?
Oh, well, like anything, it varies.
Yeah.
So for the research projects, they tend to be 2 or 3 year projects. Our project went through a 3-year cycle. We had really encouraging results, and we got another 3 years of funding to continue pushing this research direction. So we're really optimistic about that. On the side where we work directly with outside organizations, government organizations, industry organizations, those vary considerably. There are organizations we've worked with for almost a decade. There are others that we might work with for only a year or so. Typically, a 2 or 3 year collaboration is pretty common in our experience.
Right, and that's something that's always impressed me about the SEI is just the cutting edge research that we're doing here. It's and then you're transitioning it off. So it seems like there's constantly a new problem or challenge to tackle.
Absolutely, and the way we've structured our architecture team is by having this blend of researchers and practitioners. We've got a steady opportunity to learn from the practitioners. What are the problems people are seeing today? What are they worried about tomorrow? And we can feed that directly into the research. And we have the research team working directly with the practitioners to try it out and get that real feedback from people who care about the results.
Right. So we talked a little bit before we went live. So you're not a native Pittsburgher,
True,
but you've been here a while. So
yeah.
Thoughts on Pittsburgh, because I know these positions are expected to be in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So talk a little bit about what you like about the city, your experience over the years.
So I moved to Pittsburgh more than 25 years ago, and I haven't thought about leaving since. For me, Pittsburgh is just a great blend of. It's not too small. There's a lot of cultural diversity, food, the entertainment, the people. I mean, we have 7 universities in the city. So it's just a really, really diverse area. It's really exciting. But it's small. It's comfortable. It's not an overwhelming metropolis or anything like that. Commutes are pretty straightforward. Cost of living's not that bad. I mean, it's really a nice intersection of things there.
100% agree with all that. So we're going to get these positions would report to you, correct? So let's get to know you a little bit better with some rapid fire questions for James. Favorite book?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't tend to pick favorites, but I love science fiction.
Okay. When you knew you wanted a STEM career, do you have that seminal moment of, I am a technologist?
I do. I was in grade school. I was in a program, and I went to a weekend computer camp, and I loved it. I could make the machines do what I wanted. I understood how it worked, and it was fantastic.
Terrific. Most significant accomplishment of your time here at the SEI? Chance to brag about yourself here, James.
Yeah. Well, okay. So early on, I had the opportunity to work with some great colleagues, and we wrote a book documenting software architecture, first of its kind. What's rewarding about that really is occasionally, in just random circumstances at a conference or talking to practitioners, someone will come up and say, I used your book. It made a difference to me. And that beats everything as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I can. That's a great compliment. All right, last one. We'll let you leave on this one. How will technology change the world in 5 years? And we're going to hold you to this. We may have you back in 5 years to see if the predictions came true.
I'm not buying any lottery tickets, but we'll give it a try anyway. So I think the trend towards automation is going to continue. There are a lot of things that computers and software can help us do more regularly. I think there's going to be some fits and starts in learning where we'll figure out that we're going a little too aggressively. We're trying to learn how to automate some things, but we'll still automate an awful lot. I think there's a greater reliance on frameworks and open source software, and people are figuring out how to move quickly, but within guardrails because they have less design freedom when they use these things. And I think that's going to be interesting. And I don't want to speculate too much beyond that.
James, thank you very much for your time that I appreciate. Folks, again, we are hiring here at the SEI, 3 positions. That information is available on the SEI website. Go to our careers tabs. You'll see the jobs listing there. We do ask that you share the archive of this. If the position's not for you or you're not in the market right now, please share so we can spread the word about the jobs and the availability of working here at the SEI. If you have any questions about today's events or these positions, you can always email info@sei.cmu.edu. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. We'll look for you at the next episode of Intersect.